Hello everybody and welcome to VFR. Today we are on the ground in Tucson, Arizona, picking up a pretty cool airplane. We're back in the DC-6. We're going to take our DC-6B today out of Tucson, away from the boneyard, up to San Bernardino, California for a bit of maintenance before we start putting it to work out here in the West. This is going to be some modern DC-6 flying. I don't know why I'm getting that itch right now, but we're gonna follow it. And just a fun plane. We're gonna be on VATSIM tonight, so we're gonna plan out a route. Not a ton going on, not a ton busy. We do have Phoenix Tower is online just north of us, but that shouldn't be a factor. But again, we'll see what comes on. We're gonna come up with an IFR flight plan, put it all together, and fly us out of here from Tucson to San Bernardino. So thank you all for coming along, and if you're just joining us, feel free to like and subscribe if you are interested in any of the stuff we do. And we have a lot of DC-6 stuff. We've done some live streams. We've also done a few other videos when it first came out. So it's one of my favorites. It's a good airplane, and yeah, just excited to do more of it. We did a little bit in up in Alaska, flying around, but there's just not a ton of ATC action going on there. So I want to try and get some more work with controllers, just a little more comfort actually flying the plane in real life, or in the actual network. So today we are leaving KTUS, Tango Uniform Sierra, and we're heading to Sierra Bravo Delta, case SBD. And today, what is our call sign going to be? That's a good question, because we don't actually have a call sign, and we don't have an N number on this particular livery. So let's go to my favorite N number generator and pick one out, and we'll rename it. We'll come up with a call sign and do all that stuff when we get out to San Bernardino. But 944 Yankee Charlie. So November 944 Yankee Charlie. November 944 Yankee Charlie. That's got a certain ring to it. And then we'll go ahead and start getting set up. So let's get our DC-6 documentation to the fore. Yeah, and we're going to go through the route planning here because I haven't planned anything out yet. So let's go over to Sky Vector and see what we're dealing with here. So we're down here in Tucson. Interesting, we're at Tucson International Airport. We're going to fly past the boneyard at Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, which is just across the street, really, from us. But not actually selectable in flight sim. I don't know if you can actually, if there's a add-on that helps you get that, but we're not far from it at Tucson. So we'll say that the Air Force guys, if there were any DC-6s at the boneyard, they carted all the parts over to us here and assembled it in the field in Tucson. So we're going to depart out of Tucson, and we do have some departures that we can use. In particular, I was looking at the Tucson 8 departure. So let's pull that up. So Tucson 8 would take us out basically to the Tucson VOR, and then taking us out probably to Gila Bend. Golf Bravo November would be the best, would probably be our best bet. So that's Tucson 8. And then it was GBD. Is that gonna work? Try that. I might not have the right VOR. Let's go to the world low. So Tucson, and then it'll take us out to a little bit out Golf Bravo November. Eight, yeah, not Tus. Now we could fly that completely without a GPS. We are going to carry a GPS on board, but we're going to try and avoid using it as much as possible. So if we were flying VOR to VOR, what we would end up doing is probably flying V66 all this way out towards Yuma. So we could take V66. And that would be November Yankee Lima. Oh, I put this at BZA, so where's that on the chart? So the Bard VR here. I don't know if that's not on that chart or what. And then we could basically just keep going west until we hit, well, so here, there's not really, there's, I guess we could cut north to Blythe, or we could come out here to the Imperial VOR IPL, India Papa Lima. Just add that. So take V66 all the way to the Imperial VOR. And then turn north on V137 to Palm Springs. And Palm Springs are the thermal VOR, TRM. So we're getting closer now. And essentially, San Bernardino, not a huge airport, but we do have an ILS for runway 6, so hopefully we'll come in on runway 6. A few stars that we can work with. And I just want to pull that up to see it here. I'm just going to have to open that in another window. So the Cedar 5 comes in from Palm Springs. So we have Palm Springs here, or thermal VOR. No. That would be here at Palm Springs. So if we go up a little bit further on V137 to Palm Springs PSP, just keep flying that. We can come in on here on Palm Springs and then fly the Cedar 5. I guess it's Setter. Into SBD. Let's head to Old VFR, and we'll just punch that in. But essentially, that's going to take us from the Palm Springs VOR. We'll track west, and then once we hit Cedar, 21 DME from Palm Springs. 21 DME from Paradise PD2. We turn right 292 to intercept the localizer. So that will be that'll be our flight plan for today. That should take us up a decent track and keep us out of trouble. Now, we'll probably cruise, it's about an hour and 25 minutes. So we can cruise at an altitude of, let's call it 2,300 feet. Flight level 230. That'll let us get up high and mess around with the superchargers and everything. And then come on downhill. So the rain has blown in, so there will be at least some IFR component to this, which is good. We can go ahead and put that into our VPilot. So let's connect. What did I say we were? We are November 944 Yankee Charlie today. November 944 Yankee Charlie. 944 Yankee Charlie. We're going to be a DC-6. We will connect. And filing a flight plan. We are IFR K2 to KSBD. We're going to be alternate. Today is going to be K Phoenix. We'll pass it. We'll we can go pretty much anywhere else from there too. So our route again is going to be the Tucson 8 departure, Gila Bend transition, V66, Victor 66 to the Imperial VOR, then Victor 139 to the Palm Springs VOR, and then the Cedar 5 into San Bernardino on the ILS for runway 6. So we are an PMDG DC-6B. Departure time now is 23:49, so we'll bet on an 0:15, or we'll call it an hour and a half with 3 hours of fuel on board. We'll keep it at half tanks and cruise around 200, and we'll call it 240 knots conservatively. And flying at flight level 230. So that is filed. I'm going to paste my route into Toolkit Pro and just get a little bit of the paperwork done. Okay, SBD. We are November 944 Yankee Charlie. And away we go. So we do have some storms, weather around the U.S. It's a lot of storms. It seems like, just looking at the charts. If we go over to Sim Toolkit Pro, that's Navigraph. That's not Sim Toolkit Pro. Interesting. So the moral of the story, we can see this in Sky Vector 2 actually, is that there's just lots of weather kind of surrounding us. See all those convective warnings around. We also have some weather radar that we can pull up. Some fairly heavy storms. Now we're going to kind of skirt down the southern border and then turn north just at the end. So we're hopefully well south of most of this. We do have a pocket just over us now. We'll also check the weather and make sure everything's good to go. So weather today at Tucson. Well, METAR is saying VFR. I don't believe that. 9 to 19 knots at 100. So 100 at 9 to 19. 11,000 foot ceiling. 299.7 is the altimeter. But that's enough jabbering about flight plans. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to tune into our radios. We'll have to turn everything on. So let's get before start checklists running. Let me remember what all my buttons are.
Completed. Voice recorder.
122.8.
Oil coolers and cow flaps. Water in position.
Actually, do I have this programmed in?
Checked. Doors and hatches.
So instead of messing with this, let's mess with this. Remove that. I don't. Okay, setting origin K-Tus
Door warning lights. Out.
to San Bernardino.
Removed. 3 on board. Seat belts and pedals. Adjust.
And we are flying
Throttles.
for our first. Let's actually back up a little bit.
To idle. Propellers.
So our departure procedure out of there is going to be the Tucson 8. Wind 100. What are my options at Tucson?
Start engines.
So our options at Tucson are going to be, looking here in Navigraph, we're here at Tucson. Our options are runway 29111, it looks like. Well, that's not a 3. So maybe that's an old runway that it's actually giving us now. So let's get rid of runway 3. And we're going to want 11 left for departure. And our transition going to be the Gila Bend. Golf Bravo November. We'll load that departure. So adding on route waypoints now, we've got and how do I have to do this? Imperial. Southwest USA. Yeah, maybe I need something else. And then Victor 127 to PSP. I will also add in, because it's not giving me that option. That might be a paid feature. Insert before, let's just throw the that other one in. That was Bravo Zulu November, Bard. Or Bravo Zulu Alpha, I should say. Bravo Zulu Alpha, the Bard VOR in the Southwest US, and that should get us Gila Bend to Bard. That should get us pretty close. And that is at Mohawk. So insert after Mohawk, M-O-H-A-K. All right, and then on to the Imperial VOR, and then Victor 137 to PSP. That means we're going to Brawl. That means we're going to Thermal, Tango Romeo Mike. And then Palm Springs, Papa Sierra, Papa. Then once we hit Papa Sierra Papa, we can throw in our arrival, which is going to be the Setter 5, Palm Springs transition for runway 6. And then once we get down there, we'll do the ILS for runway 6. So that seems like enough of a flight plan. And that seems reasonable. So we're not going to rely on this primarily necessarily. I think we're going to give it our best shot. But because we are on live ATC network, I do want to make sure that we're actually paying some attention to it. Okay, so let's get this thing fired up and ready to go. We are, well, first thing, weight and balance. Fuel and load. We'll carry half fuel, just a little bit of cargo. And we'll say that there's a total of 7 people. Well, there's really not any people on board, though. Except for us, the crew, the 3 crew. We'll have a little bit of cargo in the holds, but that's really it. So we're pretty light today, which should hopefully make things a little bit more straightforward. We've got fresh engines. It looks like everything is fueled up and ready to go. All right, so we're ready to start engines. Let's come up to the top. We've got boost pump on low. We have fuel pressure. We do. And we can bring the mixture in now to stop from jumping around, even though that's fun. Engine selectors on 3. We want magnetos. That's going to be an issue, isn't it? So Honeycomb Alpha wonderfully maps the... it maps the magnetos. I'll fix that later, but we'll leave that for now. Maps all the magnetos to that one switch, which is good in a Cessna, but not as good here. But that's all right. All right, make sure we're clear. Oh my. Okay, so that's not going to work as well as I want. All right, I'll have to unbind it. That's fine. It is a good idea, and I know there's there are programs that can help me do this more effectively. I should set up a GA and a DC-6 profile, but in the interest of getting us going. Both, let's fire it up.
6, 9, 12.
Boost prime. Engine's starting to come up. So this is going to be a little more involved than I had thought. Okay. So that's one engine. Let's start the second. So engine 4. Switch to 4. Make sure we have fuel pressure. We do. And we can put the mixture into auto rich here too.
3, 6, 9, 12.
Boost prime. And that's engine 4. Both to low fuel. Yes.
3, 6, 9, 12.
So I'm doing this the old-fashioned way. So that's 3 good starts. Again, it's not super cold here, obviously, in Tucson. Well, probably relative for Tucson. It might be, actually. Both low. Engine start switch to 1. Do we have fuel? We do. Fire in the hole.
3, 6, 9, 12.
Boost prime. And that is 4 good engine starts. So one more thing we gotta fix. Excuse me. Is throttle. So I gotta make a new profile for the throttle too. DC-6 is a unique airplane, and you don't go to you don't really appreciate that till you try to do this. So very interesting. I'm actually using my F-18 throttle for this just because it's chunky. But if we make a DC-6 and then throttle, I basically need to... Am I going to be able to do it with this scheme? I don't know that I am, because it doesn't like if I do... So what I want to do... No, I can, because this is the one that doesn't wipe it out. So we'll have 1 and 2 on the right. And then 3 and 4 on the left joystick, or on the left throttle. So basically it's like one big bar, but it's got 2 throttles. 2 throttle levers. You can bind them together. Or you can throw a switch and they go separate. That seems to do what I think it'll do. Okay, good. So we'll call that a good start. Rocking the bare metal, because I don't know what we want to do with this yet. There's a lot of good liveries out there, but I'm not sure what exactly we're going to end up doing. While they're working, let's play a little more and get our nav frequency set up. So Tucson 8 departure. Tucson's going to be on 116.0. So let's go 1160. To get that one in Gila Bend's going to be 1166. 116.6. And then 116.6 can be a nav 2, 116.6. And then after that, the next one on our flight is going to be... so I can type this in. That's good. So then the next one on our list is going to be Bard at Yuma on 116.8. So cancel that. 116.8. Right, so a lot of 116s here. All right, so if that's our after start, I think we are about good to go. So for the passenger briefing, we are going to be departing here out of Tucson, probably runway 11 left. We are on Unicom at the moment. Looks like, no, we've got NorCal online. Who knows, we might see SoCal before the end of the day. We're at Tucson. We're going to be flying up into Southern California to get our airplane checked out. We're going to be doing some VOR to VOR stuff. We're on the Tucson 8, which means we're going to basically fly... Again, going to Navigraph. We'll basically depart out to the Tucson VOR and then pick up the radial 280 outbound. So 280. Outbound, and then we pick up Gila Bend 109 inbound. So after start checklist is completed, we'll need to run before takeoff, and we need to taxi to the runway. We're out kind of on the south ramp. The satellite pictures show airplanes here. I don't know if that's realistic or not, but it seemed appropriate for an airplane we've salvaged from the boneyard just across the street in Davis-Monthan. So I think we'll probably just go, well, if we go out here to Delta 4 Delta, we can just taxi onto runway 11 left. So let's do that. Again, we are, let me write it down so I don't forget what the call sign is. We are, I guess, Cloudmaster. We'll just go November 944. Yankee Charlie. (944) Yankee Charlie. And before we get going, I'll take a look and make sure. Welcome everybody to the channel. Snip, welcome aboard. Good to see you, man. It is always fun to fly the DC-6. I don't know why I didn't wake up planning this DC-6 one, but I had an urge to be like, hey, that's a good DC-6. I want to do more modern stuff. And for some reason, I have a DC-6 flying across the Southwest as my mental image. It's like the opposite of an Alaska DC-6. I don't know. Yeah, if they had particle effects on the ground and exhaust, and this should be kicking up a lot of dust right now. That would be pretty cool. That would be a pretty cool effect. So we're Yankee Charlie. We're going to be going from Tucson to San Bernardino. And what did I say? Delta. We'll taxi via Delta. 11 left via Delta. But thank you all for coming along on this flight. And I'm hoping to turn this into more of a series. We'll do some DC-6 flying. And I think we can probably leverage NeoFly for some of it. I'll hack a DC-6 into our account. And but that will take a little bit of experimentation. Tucson traffic, November 944 Yankee Charlie, taxiing to runway 11 left via Delta, Tucson. So we'll pull the parking brake, bring the power forward a little bit. For my own sanity, I'm going to get rid of the gust lock. Which one is it? Is it this one? Ah, there it is. That's the click spot. So taxiing out here to 11 left. Again, wind was 9 to 19 knots. Coming, we'll be pretty much straight into the wind, which is good. We're gonna make a right turn coming out of here onto that taxiway, and then another right to get onto Delta. And again, we're not doing we are slant Lima today. Got a GPS on board. We will fly with it, but we're going to practice some VOR to VOR. But if they need us to go direct somewhere, we can go direct somewhere. I just like to have that backup. And it's not unrealistic for a DC-6 operating in the modern world. I was kind of hoping for some sun, not some clouds and rain, but hey. What you get. And I think this is what it was telling us. This was telling us runway 3, but I don't think that's a real runway anymore, based on the chart I have, at least. So we're on Delta real quick, and yeah, I think real quick before we do that, we'll do a little bit of a run-up. Just check our magnetos and everything. This is theoretically an airplane we're rescuing from the boneyard, so it's good to... probably good to check all that out. We are pretty light today, no passengers, a little bit of cargo, but this is more or less a ferry flight. So nothing too heavy duty at the moment. So we'll hold short of 11 right here, so that we're not sitting behind the airplanes while we do it. But no one else is here, so we'll pause. We'll throw on the parking brakes and go for it. All right, so we're gonna throttle up, holding on the brakes. I'm gonna put it at 35 inches of manifold pressure. Yeah, we can go full 40. Let's go full 40. And check our magnetos. So we're looking for an RPM drop. And we'll do the left two together. Well, it didn't drop more than that, so that's good. Back to both. We'll do the left. I'm not sure how we're supposed to do this. I think it's one. I might be one at a time, or one pair on each side. We'll try that. So let's try the right magneto on engines 1 and 3. We're seeing it in fuel flow. I think the prop governor is accounting for it, but we do have a little drop here in RPM for 1 and 3. Maybe it's because if you do it on the others on the side, same side. All right, and we'll do engines 2 and 4. 2 and 4 are a little lower. That's good, but not too much lower. Back to both. Everything else is looking good. Let's use our cheating engine stress visualizer. Everything is looking in the green except for oil temperature and cylinder head temperature, which is a little bit of a moderate question mark. It's all right. Let's just wipe out the props now. All seems good to go. So the windsock's concerning me a little bit. That's the opposite of what I've been told from the METAR. Oh yeah, looks like it's flipped on us. So 320 now. That actually would be easier for us. So let's taxi on down to the end. We've got... I guess we've got 11 right, so we'll have to taxi back around and past it to get to the other side. Tucson traffic, 4 Yankee Charlie, we're crossing 11 right and 11 left. We're going to taxi around to runway 29 right via Alpha now, Tucson. Not that we should have too much of a problem, but let's not tempt fate. And it actually sends us off in the right direction instead, because we're kind of going out to the north and west. At the cost of a little bit of taxi time, but hey, we're not now on an airline schedule. This is a ferry flight. So thank you all for coming along, for just joining us. We are in the DC-6. We're taking our new old DC-6. We're rescuing it from the boneyard here in Tucson, Arizona. We're actually flying out of Tucson International because Microsoft Flight Simulator doesn't have... It has the modeled boneyard. Hopefully we'll be able to see it on our departure. But you can't fly out of Davis Mountain, so... That's all right. And I swore there was something you could get that would let you, but I may have made that up. But either way, let's have the guys run the before takeoff checks. And if we do this longer, I think we can start taking on more of these tasks. I just don't fly this plane frequently enough to to run these checklists myself, basically. But again, I'm kind of hoping we can turn this into some kind of a series. I think if we manipulate Neo flying the right way, I think we can make it work. Maybe a super fancy boutique airline for influencers. So workshopping a few ideas, and we'll see that hopefully in the next few weeks. Now, as far as other stream things going, next week we've got Virtual Air Venture, which we'll participate on Wednesday, probably, and Thursday. I'll probably do a dry run Wednesday. Then maybe we can stream it Wednesday and Thursday. I don't know. But so basically, if you're not familiar, Air Venture is a big it's a big air show / convention for the Experimental Aircraft Association. They held it in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Pretty cool place. Big general aviation fly-in. They have some unique procedures. And the Chicago Virtual ARTC is going to be simulating them next week. So they've got 2 days that they'll be running that. So basically we'll do a VFR flight. I'd love, if we had a good Warbird, I would love to fly Warbird, but we'll probably fly debating between flying the Cessna 310R and the Piper Arrow. I think the Arrow is going to be more manageable. The 310R can be a little squirrely, and it's just kind of a not hectic, but it's a different kind of thing. So I probably feel a little more comfortable with the Arrow, and we might run the Arrow. But we'll have to fly up from somewhere. I don't know where that would be. So if you have any ideas where we should fly to Oshkosh from, drop them in the comments below or chat or whatever. And then for this one, we're November 944 Yankee Charlie. I haven't picked a call sign yet. Usually I like to do a defunct airline or something. So one, there's a few Western Airlines liveries floating around on flightsim.to, so that's an option. I saw a Galaxy, which would be a good one. I like to use a real one just so, it doesn't matter. You can use whatever call sign you want on VATSIM, but just helps me to say, well, I can pull it up on the ICAO chart and or on the ICAO database, and that is a airline's call sign. So Galaxy was the other one. Challenge. There's a Challenge Airlines. So it's good. Or we can make our own thing. I don't know exactly what the one I really want is like there's a Southwest Air Cargo or something like that for the Twin Otter, and I want that for this. Kind of almost an 80s scheme. We'll see. We might make something. All right, so we're now at the end. Runway 29er. Let's re-talk through the departure just so I know. We're going to be tracking the Tucson radial outbound 280, so that actually works out pretty well for us. We're going to need a dry takeoff today. And yeah, then we're going to take the... we'll track 289 inbound Tequila Bend. We're on the 109 radial. All right, so we're going to take the runway. So let's go. Mark 1 eyeball check. Tucson traffic. 4 Yankee Charlie is taking runway 29 right. We're going to be departing out to the west. Tucson 8 departure. Tucson. And then keep your eye out on the right-hand side of the cockpit would be the boneyard. So it's over there, really, literally just across the highway from us. All right, here we go. Takeoff dry.
Stabilize. 30 inches, stabilize.
It's nice because I get to focus on my flying part.
Stabilized. Cal flaps. Cal flaps. Cal flaps set. Full power, please. Going full power.
Here we go. We should end up with 54 inches of manifold pressure for a dry takeoff. That'll be a slight left.
Full power set.
One more thing before we go. Let's change my CDI back to our nav. All right. Brakes off, that's 40 knots. And we'll just gently fly away at around 100. It's 100. Gently rotating, and we're flying right away. Got a small runway incursion in front of us.
Flaps up. Flaps going up.
So we're going we filed flight level 230. So that's what we will shoot for.
Meter power. Setting meter power 48 inches, 2600 RPM.
And just pitching 465 knots. This is my first time flying this with a yoke instead of a joystick. It does feel good. Not that it does feel good with the joystick too, but it feels more serene with a yoke.
Climb power. Setting climb power.
It's going to come in a little faster than I wanted. It's all right. We'll have to work on smoothness if we're going to transport boutique passengers.
After takeoff checklist, please.
And we do have terrain, so we'll have to make a decent climb here. We're not going to dilly-dally.
After takeoff checks complete.
Down here at low altitude. So after takeoff, we're configured for climb. We're pretty bang on our departure at the moment. Now, once we're 30 miles from the Tucson VOR, we're going to switch over to the Gila Bend. And, again, that's 289 inbound. Passing 5,000 now. We're also going to have to do a bit of a step climb when we get up there. But yeah, let's see. Not a great view, but over there you can kind of see the... I don't know if you really can. The boneyard. No, what the heck. Let's do it. Let's take a lap. Let me make sure I'm still in control. Tucson traffic, 4 Yankee Charlie is clear of runway 29, right? We're going to circle around, overfly the boneyard, and then we'll proceed on our way, departing out to the west, Tucson. I won't tell Phoenix Center, or I won't tell Albuquerque Center if you don't. Actually, I'll say we've been cleared for a bit of a diversion. It's just over this way. I'm not sure if I've actually flown over this in sim either. But this is the military boneyard in Tucson that we're going to fly over here. It'll be a good screenshot too. I think this came with World Update 2, if I'm not mistaken. With the first US World Update. And there's Tucson Airport right over here. That's where we departed from. And here's the military air base. Coming up on our left. Now our exit strategy here is going to be, we'll actually just make a right-hand turn, loop back around, overfly Tucson, and then head on our way. But yeah, the lack of moisture out here in the desert makes this one of the perfect places to store airplanes. So this is one of the big military ones. They also have some in Southern California, mostly for commercial planes. I doubt there are too many DC-6s hanging around these parts. But you never know. But it is kind of crazy. They line them all up and preserve them and part them out, use them for spare parts. We're a little high for a VFR sightseeing tour, but that's okay. And it's a lot of work to keep the planes in, you know, a shape where they're still useful. But you can store planes for a long time like this. It's pretty cool. It's worth a low pass. And we're still climbing. Tucson traffic. DC-6 4 Yankee Charlie. We are currently 7,500. We're going to overfly Tucson and depart out to the west. Tucson. So we'll just fly back around and keep going climbing, but a little bit of a diversion. It's kind of anticlimactic when you tease it as the boneyard flight and then don't get up there. So X-Rider, what's up? How's it going? Yeah, it's kind of a classic, well, I guess you could call it classic, bare metal, blank canvas for our wacky desires. A blank canvas. And we're now turning a little bit, maybe even too far, but solidly in the clouds now. Let's go ahead and turn. So we're actually going to fly basically straight over the VOR down at Tucson and then head on our way. Again, climbing up flight level 230. And doing kind of a soft VOR to VOR navigation. We do have the GPS queued up. But I am going to try and use our VOR, use our nav radios instead of the GPS for the most part. But we are flying on VATSIM tonight, so if we do get into a center-controlled airspace or whatever, something happens, we have that flexibility. So we're getting a little fast. Let's keep it climbing and get on out of here. So we've got the whole crew back together again in the DC-6 heading up to San Bernardino for some heavy maintenance, maybe a paint job, who knows. And from there, we'll, so basically my vision is we can set up something in NeoFly and just fly missions that way. Maybe we'll have an FBO with some routes or just fly odd jobs, who knows. Could even do sightseeing. The important thing is now to keep on climbing. And a stormy day across the U.S. A fair amount of thunderstorms that we will have to contend with. Hopefully missing us off to the north. We're basically going to fly south along the southern border. And then turn north once we hit Imperial, I think. So let's just get this set up before we do too much sitting around. We got to do gyro pilot on. Let's get it climbing. And then we'll fly localizer mode from there. Well, again, we do have it programmed on the GPS, but it's going off of the nav right now. So we got it in nav radio mode. 116.0 is Tucson, 116.6 is Gila Bend. If you want a moving map view, if that'll ruin it for you, look away. We're departing out of Tucson. We're going to make just a small right turn to fly the Tucson 8 out to Gila Bend. Not rocket science. Climbing to about 1,000 feet per minute. That's getting us 165. We're pretty good. So LAX Rider, you fly the Everett's cargo over. Yeah, we've done a couple of those too. That's a good one. I always fly up. Yeah, flying up in Alaska. I want to fly it on VATSIM. I just ATC up in Alaska. There's not a ton of it. It is up there sometimes, but it's a lot of Unicom stuff. So I have a vision of flying cargo DC-6s, passenger DC-6s around the U.S., but kind of fitting it into a modern world. I don't know why Arizona and New Mexico spring to mind for me as like the opposite of Alaska, but also the same. But IFR in the DC-6 can be tricky. I feel a lot better when I have an ILS approach. If you don't have any ILS or anything, it gets real dicey real quick. And Snip, you like the Mats livery. That's good. You can justify flying about anywhere in the world. There's actually a few good ones on there. I appreciate that. There's a few good variations on it too up in flightsim.to, so definitely check those out. I like the Navy versions, but yeah, you can take that anywhere. I feel similarly about the Boeing 737 BBJ with the US, so I like to fly the C-40 on a world tour. I'm kind of doing offline. Shouldn't say world tour, more of a Europe tour. Now, see, why are we looking out that window? This is a much better window. Climbing through the cloud layer. Again, we're going to level 230, so we'll have to turn the superchargers on once we hit around 16,000 feet. And then also, just before we get into LA airspace, I want to make sure we're pretty clear on when we need to descend. That's, I think, the biggest thing is with real ATC, we're going to have to advocate for ourselves. But yeah. And climbing now through 14,000. And we're heading west. I guess we're heading west, so we need to be at 240. Or 220. I'll err on the side of lower. So once we get to 16,000 feet, we'll stop. We'll level off at 16,000 and start bringing the superchargers in. I'll level off, take control of the throttles. And bring that in. At That's 15.5. We're coming up on 30 miles too from Tucson, so we'll be ready to go to 289. We'll put it in gyropilot mode now. And we'll go that's 28, 29. That's pretty good. And nav radio, we want to be 116.6. So what we can do actually is, I don't want to wipe out my nav too. We'll just watch it on this one. 29 is pretty good enough for me. And we'll put it back into localizer mode. So now we're just making that little slight dog leg out of Tucson. And now we're tracking the Gila Bend VOR inbound. From there, we'll pick up the Victor Airway. Victor 66, I think it is? Yeah, Victor 66. Heading west. Now we are getting a little... Oh, and see, I missed the level off too. So we're getting a little slow here, as you can see. So we'll level off. Have the guys clean up the airplane a little bit.
Cruise power is set.
So now just refreshing my memory. What we need to do is bring the power back a little bit, because it's going to go up, and then we'll set, I think it's 1 and 3 and 2 and 4 to high. So 1 and 3 fix, 2 and 4 fix. We'll see how that goes. We only have 2 throttle levers. The big thing is just taking control of the power yourself so that you don't blow out your engines. So we'll bring it back to 25 or so. That's 1 and 3. And see, it pops up to 40. Wrong view. And then 2 and 4. That should pop up to 40 and give us some more power. And then we'll just manually adjust our throttles to keep it at 40 in this climb. All right, let's keep going. Onward and upward. So thank y'all for coming along with us. If you're just joining us, we've departed out of Tucson. We're heading up to San Bernardino, California. Kilo Sierra Bravo Delta longtime channel members might remember that's where we picked up our 737. It's a general aviation and cargo airport with some maintenance facilities, some storage of airliners. So we'll just take it out there, mostly as a warm-up. It also gets us kind of closer to the to kind of more busy airspaces in the southwest. Come up on 18,000 feet now, and just what a difference. Let's keep the throttles moving forward until it's got nothing left to give us. And we are 60 miles from Gila Bend. You know, Snip, they probably leaned out the mixtures. I think they leaned out the mixtures for cruise. Yeah, it looks like it. Should we be in rich mixture for the supercharger? Not gonna rock the boat now. And Alex ready. Yes, Phoenix Approach. It looks. Oh, Phoenix Approach is online. I saw Tower was online a little bit ago. Does look like it. I don't know if we get into their airspace at all. But there will be some more traffic coming out this way. ATC wise, we got NorCal's online, but no SoCal right now. I think that's the most likely one, though, if we do see something pop up. Well, we could try it. Yeah, let's throw him at Rich. I believe that. Check the engine cheat sheet panel. Oh, yikes. Cylinder head temperature is red, which isn't great. Why is the catastrophic stress range? What am I doing? Do I need to open it up? I've broken more engines, I swear. Let's get some carb air going. Rich should cool the cylinder head temps. Yeah, maybe that'll be it. Maybe that's what I'm doing wrong. Yeah, it's whatever it's done, it's fried. Don't look. Excessive BMEP. Why is it excessive? Let me bring that back a little too. Bring it back to 30. And hopefully that so maybe I'm just running it too hard right now. I don't know. Let's get some carb air at least. And see, this is why I want to fly this plane more. It's just because I don't do a very good job with it. Because it's kind of cool, but I also do that, and then it's like, oh, I've broken all 4 engines. Congratulations. Prop. Am I not in, Ooh, good catch. Alex Ryder, good catch. Prop RPM. That'll do. Is that a me or is that a them? I think that was something they did in cruise. So let's take let's look at the panel. Let's actually look at what we're doing. Well, temperatures look like they're in the green. Carb air looks like it's okay. I can't really see past that one. The left ones are a little high. That's all hot. I don't know. Bring it down a little bit. Oil pressure, fuel pressure, all looks good. That's maybe I was just cooking it too hot. We'll hold it at 35 and just climb on out that. Well, let's see if we can go a little better. We're at 21,000 and I said 22,000, so that makes or flight level 220, so that makes sense. Let's do that. Also need to go down to standard 2992. Yeah, it's from storage. We got it that way. Pull back some throttle and adjust the prop accordingly. Yeah, we can try that. So we want, let's set 2400 RPM. It's coming back to me. 2400 RPM. I think what we're supposed to do is 40 and 2400 for climb, technically. Let's bring that back though. That's saying over boost though. So let's bring that back. What's it gonna not tell me over boost at? So 35, it looks like, is what it likes. Interesting. Oh well. So we haven't blown that engine yet. That's good. Again, just to don't fly it enough to really be too dangerous. That's the one thing that I always kick myself with the DC-6. Other thing we do need to pay attention, 37 miles Tequila River. And then next up on the list is going to be... we'll be going to... We'll fly yeah. We'll fly 247 outbound till we hit Mohawk. And then 255 to Bard. And then we'll switch over to Bard and fly 255 inbound. Mohawk is... Where's my VFR chart? Or where's a chart that tells me? So yeah, Mohawk should be about 66 miles, or it should be 66 DME from the Gila Bend. And then we just go into, once we see 66 outbound, we go over to, I can't remember, BZA, Bravo Zulu Alpha Bard. .22.5, I'm high too. All right. Let's level it off. So now our carb are getting a little low, so let's bring carb heat up a little bit. Level it off and let it come on down. Just a smidge. Till we get to flight level 220. So far we're on our way though. We haven't crashed yet, which is good. It means it's not the worst we've done so far. Let's keep that coming downhill. .160, and then we just gotta let it pick up some steam a little bit. Yikes! Catastrophic damage. Again? Really didn't like that. Was it too high? Is that what it was? So that's 22,200. Just a little bit more. And we'll be there. Picking up some speed now, that'll help. Just a tiny bit more. Yeah, it's flight level 220. All right, cool. So we're set here. I will let the flight engineers give us cruise power and make sure I haven't messed anything else up. Tanks are looking good. We got nothing in the aux tanks, so we're all mains. They should set around, looks like they're going to set 32.
Power is set.
That makes sense. So we're climbing out over the desert, or cruising out over the desert now. We're firmly into the cruise phase. Now we are at flight level 230, so that's 23,000 feet. San Bernardino Airport.
Complete.
Sierra Bravo Delta is going to be at an elevation of 1,159 feet. And we're going to take the ILS for 6 and the Setter 5 arrival. So our way too early arrival briefing, we're coming in on Palm Springs, Papa Sierra Papa. We're going to basically fly this way until we hit Setter. And then it's going to be, we'll fly direct to Pettus. I guess we could also go from Bands, but essentially once we're on this way, we can pick up this Pettus on 397, this NDB, and that should put us into the ILS for runway 6, which is going to be going that way. So is that the no? We can also look at it relative to the Paradise VOR, but that'll put us down at we'll plan to be at 4,000 when we're really thinking about landing. Which is the whole point of this. We're calculating. So 23,000 minus 4,000 is 19,000 feet. Divide that by 5. Or multiply that by 5. I said say 5 times over 1,000. So calculator. 19,000 times 5. Gives us about 95 nautical miles away. Plus 20 to slow down. So 115 nautical miles is our final answer. Now, where are we going to be 115 nautical miles away from our destination? Well, we've got a 42-mile leg, 42 miles between San Bernardino. Now, ideally, we want to be down before that. So Palm Springs is as good a point as any, really. Maybe a little after that, but not much. So the last leg of our flight is 82 miles to Palm Springs, plus 40 to the actual airport. It goes about 120. So it'll be, we'll need to start our descent really just before the Imperial VOR here, if we really want to make it downhill in time. So just before the Imperial VOR, we'll want to start our descent. And we'll, yeah, so let me see, what are we doing at Palm Springs? What does this say? So our arrival has 16,000 at Palm Springs. Now that's not going to work for us for a number of reasons. But it says expect. Is this a turboprop? No, this isn't not a turbojet only. So at Palm Springs, 16,000, and from there, we're probably 20 miles from Joke. So I think the Imperial VOR, maybe 15 or 20 miles before the Imperial VOR, we start descending in for San Bernardino. So all in all, not that long. And, okay, so let's make our next move. Well, I'm talking too much. We need to make a left-hand turn now for, let's go to gyropilot. And BART is our next one, so 116.8. Or actually, no, we're staying on this, and we're tracking 247 outbound. So we're going 2-4 and 2-4-7, just about there. And we're going to have to make a left-hand turn, because I have kind of missed it. So left-hand turn. And we'll re-pick it up and then head to Bard. Again, we want 66 miles from Gila Bend. We'll switch over to the Bard VOR on 116.8. So again, glad we're not jumping into an event or anything busy, because that is part of it. So yeah, the LAX rider, the superchargers are on, and it's, well, we're hitting about 200. We're at 190. So I buy that. And we're making, what's our ground speed? 260. That all makes sense to me. Is engines yelling at me? No, they're all good. Okay, good. So we'll, let's stop that. We're probably a little too aggressive at this point. We'll chalk it up to test flying. We do have from, so that's good. The VR is going to come in quick, and we're going to... I don't know if we're going to hit it or not. Here it comes. Nope, didn't like that. My fault. I didn't follow procedure. It should still be able to get it, though. So a slight diversion to get us some more desert views, but that's all par for the course here at VFR. So we're cruising high and moderately fast. Heading out, we've got southern Arizona off to our left. And then we'll basically fly over El Centro and Imperial up towards Palm Springs.
We're going to be logging off here. You can remain in the Bravo. Radar service are terminated. Change to advisories approved. Have a great flight over to flight staff.
Over Unicom, thank you, sir. Have a good day. Thank you for the ACT 95 Java, ATC, excuse me.
So we're gonna kind of try and listen to Phoenix, but it sounds like they're logging off. We do have Phoenix Tower 120.9. And let's see what else is going on. SoCal's pretty quiet tonight. Still pretty quiet tonight. Oh yeah, snap. All that can get very confusing. I don't use X's and O's or anything, but I use I can't remember what the free one is. Whatever it is, it seems to work. Whatever plugin I have for my Stream Deck seems to work really well with radios, but autopilot is a hit or miss thing. Like, it doesn't work at all in the 737. Works a little bit in the CRJ. Works in most GA planes, but it would be nice to bind these two and that lever, just because it's hard to get to. If I can make a panel. I actually have enough switches here, I probably could. And yeah, we can check for...
Phoenix Tower, United 45903, hello, requesting IFR clearance for departure to the...
I thought Phoenix Round was online. Oh, no, it's Scottsdale.
United 4593 Phoenix Tower, hello. Just to clarify, you're headed to Vegas today?
Yes, I'm heading to Vegas, United 4593.
United 4593 Phoenix Tower, you're cleared to Las Vegas International Airport via the Zephyr 2 departure. Rasta transition is filed. Climb via the SID, expect flight level 280, 3 minutes after departure. Departure frequencies offline, squawk 0407.
United 4593, cleared to Las Vegas via Zephyr 2, then our strat filed, climbing main via the SID, expecting flight level 280, 3 minutes after departure, squawking 0407.
4593 Heavy, readback correct. Push start your discretion, advise ready taxi. I can give you runway 26 if you'd like.
That would be perfect, United 4593.
And 4593, roger, expect runway 26.
Out over the desert in the DC-6. So thanks y'all for coming along. Just joined us. We're heading out to San Bernardino. Departed Tucson a little while ago. Left in some IFR thunderstorms, but nothing but sun now. Up here at flight level 220. Again, we're looking for what, 66 here, and then we're switching over to Bard, and then Bard is going to be 255. So we need to go to 255 at 60. So I'm actually just going to go ahead, throw us on gyropilot now, and 255. So that's 250, 255 about. And then hopefully we'll just be able to make the turn, make a little right-hand turn and pick it up.
Control aircraft, Kings Tower's closing in 10 minutes.
So we're doing pretty well. No catastrophic stress yet. Engines are a little iffy, but that's to be expected on a first flight. We will blame the wear and tear in its previous life. Certainly not our skills.
Phoenix Tower, ready to taxi to runway 269, 4593.
At 4793 Heavy, runway 26, taxi via Charlie 9 Bravo.
United 4593, taxi to runway 26 via Charlie 9 Bravo.
The other DC-6 livery I want to find a use for is the Coast Guard one on there. I don't know why, but it's funny. You paint some of these old prop planes. I mean, P3s are really Lockheed or old Lockheed planes, piston planes, not too dissimilar from this. It's funny when you paint them all over the same scheme in a modern, like a gray, they look much more modern than if they're bare metal and have all these cheek lines and things. It's just funny that a lot of the modern military planes, the big tankers, are Boeing 707s at their core. A commercial airliner that hasn't flown for decades at this point. That's 60. 6 more miles. Let me focus. Get ready to hit the switch. Our automatic pilot, our gyroscopic pilot, should be able to figure it out as long as it's staying within those bounds. Otherwise it gets a little confused. So 62, and then we switch. Actually, we can put that on nav 2 and switch now. That's looking pretty good. So we've now tuned in the Bard VOR, 63 miles from Gila River. I've got that on nav 2 now. And from there we'll make a right-hand turn. So that's 65. .8, 0.9, and that'll do. So now we're basically straight shot. We're going to pass through the Bard VOR and have to tune in the Imperial VOR on 115.9. .115.9 for Imperial, and again, once we're kind of 20 miles from Imperial, we'll start to think about descending. There is a Cessna 172 below us heading out to, looks like, San Diego. I doubt we can see them at this point, but... And there's United off to the northwest. Other than that, fairly tame in SoCal tonight. The east is a little more lit up. Looks like we've got all 3 Washington approaches. Dulles, DCA, and BWI. Boston Center. And I mean, there's, no, I guess you got Houston and, and New York. New York, so. But not a bad turnout for Thursday night. I wonder what the event is this weekend. So again, we talked about Air Venture or Sim Venture. I'm not sure. Sim Venture, I think, is what the, VAT Venture is what it's called. I think Sim Venture is on Pilot Edge. So you got Hidden Gateways. That's actually a few fun airports. Jacksonville, El Paso. Not sure what CRP is. Reno. Boise. Omaha. Shreveport. Portland. Midway. That might be a good one to do. Midway. That's 2300 to 0300 Zulu. It looks like they're highlighting some of the smaller airports in the network. And then at Golf Echo Golf, a landing challenge on Saturday. And then it looks like Sunday there's a New Jersey, they're staffing up Newark. And then of course next we've got VAT Venture Wednesday and Thursday. Looks like the Transcon eastbound is on Saturday. And some stuff happening in Minneapolis and Houston, if you're interested in that. Snip, I've seen a little bit of the Flying Bulls stuff. I haven't seen the documentary, though. I'd imagine it started with the freight flight. I can't remember where their DC-6 came from. Do you know? Top of your head? And LX Rider, we're flying VOR to VOR. Yeah, that's the intent. Kind of backed up by GPS. But we can do this full flight. VOR to VOR. There was one of the NBB ones. That's what I thought. Something like that. We could pull that up. It does. It's a fun plane. Keeping it in its operating margins, operating limits. It's just, yeah, I want to fly it more and get more comfortable flying it in this kind of environment. I think this is a good introductory flight for it, and then maybe next time, hopefully, we'll have some LA Center or something would be good. Could also do it up the coast. Might just be fun to ferry between Vegas and Los Angeles, one of the LA airports. And now I can turn that back to 1. We're 10 miles from Bard. So nav 2 we can put in 1159. Because really what we're going for is Imperial, and it's basically a straight shot. So let's go into 50 miles from Imperial. We're going to start coming downhill at 20 with the goal of being around 4,000 feet at Palm Springs. And let me make sure that that's not going to be a problem with geography. It could be. It's a 9-1. If you come down this way. So there's some terrain that we'll have to watch out for coming in. I don't know what the minimum really would be. That's an 11,000 foot peak off the north side. And so I'm looking at this, maybe we should have come in from Julian, which is just what did it hit? A little further west. Well, no, we're still descending into some high terrain. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll be coming through basically a peak with 10,000 foot peaks and 11,000. So maybe we'll have to be at 12,000 at Palm Springs. But that's Alex, Bands, and then Bands, we can kind of look at that. So let's put in Alex and Bands and see what that does for us. And the other thing is we can kind of overshoot it too, and then come back to fly it in if we need to. Yeah, so that terrain is still not great. So we may just take it all the way to the Paradise VOR. And that would just give us an extra little bit of time to come in. I'm looking at the chart. Here, and I'm cross-referencing with SkyVector's VFR chart. We're going to hit Palm Springs. If we keep it, these two peaks are 10 and 11,000 feet. So if we keep it kind of high here, avoid those peaks, and just take it all the way to Paradise, we probably have enough time to get down and do more stuff. So we can kind of extend this as much as we need to get down into San Bernardino. That's what we'll try anyway. Yeah, this probably is the, oh yeah, Oscar Echo Lima Delta Mike is the Red Bull. I'm sure they took it as the base from the, I think that's the one in the paint kit. And then, yeah, it's, this is the ferry flight. Yeah, more or less. We're ferrying it in. Who knows? LX Rider, thanks for coming along. Good luck at work. Thank you for the smooth landings. We'll do our best. So we're 30 miles from Imperial. We're now 10 out from... I keep forgetting Bard. I don't know why that one's so hard. It's just not that evocative. I'm going to put it in gyropilot mode and just move us over to the Imperial VOR. It should be similar, if not exactly the same. And then get ready for our next one after that, which is going to be, I think, straight to Palm Springs. So that's on 115.5. So I think we'll start a gentle descent at Imperial, and then, well, yeah, we'll take it down maybe 13,000 at Palm Springs, and then just drop the rest of the altitude on the way, on the long kind of downwind on the Setter 5. Start to see some more farms off our left. Off our left wing should be Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. We've entered that part of the, yeah, so Mexicali will be up off our left wing. And if we just kept going straight, now we would hit San Diego. We're going to cut right and up north towards the LA area. So thank you all for coming along, for just joining us. We are ferrying our DC-6 from the boneyard in Tucson, Arizona, up to San Bernardino for a final heavy maintenance check, and then we'll put it into service, probably using some NeoFly or something. I think we'll hack a NeoFly system, give ourselves a DC-6 and a bunch of debt, and fly missions that way. So we will have to decide on a call sign and a whatever an airline name will be. I do want to fly all those flights on VATSIM, really test myself. And yeah, hopefully learn this airplane a little bit better. You can usually get it and go, but yeah, sometimes doing the superchargers and messing with engines can be a little tricky. Easy to break them, but that's part of the fun. And they're saying 54, time now 26. So about a half hour to San Bernardino. Let's dust off the landing procedure. So we're going to go in, we're going to get down at our final approach altitude, probably around 3,000 feet, 4,000, 3,000 feet. We'll be making a right-hand turn to join the localizer for runway 6 into San Bernardino. We can get the weather at San Bernardino. That's San Diego. Sierra Bravo Delta. Times when you talk and don't think. So yeah, the wind isn't really favoring us. 7 to 14, 260, 7 to 14 knots. We are VFR with some haze, 88 degrees Fahrenheit, 6 mile visibility, 12,000 foot ceiling, 2988. But yeah, the wind's not in our favor, but we should be okay. We're pretty light. And that's the ILS that we have. We could circle, but I think we'll be okay if we come on in. And then if we take it all the way to Paradise, so on the approach, if we take it all the way to Paradise in the initial approach fix, we'll then make a right-hand turn, track 007 outbound, and then intercept the localizer at 057. So that'll be good. That's enough things, but should give us enough. That should give us enough detail to get in. And then Papa Delta Zulu. And then what is that waypoint? That is Sudak. So to bring it back to Sky Actor, we're down here still, and we're going to be basically flying up here and over. So we'll fly up this valley out to the Palm Springs VOR, make that left-hand turn, clear this pass here, 10,000 foot peaks on our left. That's 7,000. So you know, we're probably safe at 8,000 feet. So we'll probably cross Palm Springs at 10. That would also kind of be up to ATC too. If we had ATC online, I would ask them, hey, what's the lowest I can get at Palm Springs? I don't know what that is. I think it's probably 13,000 question mark. But I would just ask him, what's the lowest I can get there? And then we're going to head to the Riverside. No, that's not right. Is it? PDZ? Papa Delta Zulu? No, I want the Paradise VOR. Maybe it's co-located, I don't know. Oh, no, it's... Oh, I see. It's just congested. Riverside's out here somewhere. So, yeah, Paradise VOR here. We'll make a right-hand turn for the runway. And then, yeah, pick up the localizer and then in for 6 right. If we don't like it, we go around and we'll reevaluate. But the field is VFR, so should be all right. All right, so we are turning right now. Ah, shoot. I fudged it up a little bit. And I don't know why, but the needless complexity of the gyropilot system is a little bit endearing. There is a right way to do it, and you have to do it that way. So now in gyropilot mode, we need to go to our next VOR, which is going to be Palm Springs, and we'll pick up Victor 137, which is going to be tracking 312 inbound. Once you get into cruise, this also starts to happen a little bit faster than you might think. We'll basically turn north and pick that up. And you start to see lots of farms. And so we haven't quite picked up Palm Springs, have we? That's what it's telling me, at least. 1195. Let me verify that as the correct. Oh no, thermal. I want thermal. 116.2. Getting ahead of myself. 116.2 is the thermal VOR, and maybe that'll come in. There it is. Okay, yes, that's good. Thermal VOR 311 inbound. And then we've got Paradise queued up on nav 2. But you got to be paying attention. There's no zoning out like in a Magenta Line airliner. And we should probably start thinking about coming downhill too. So we'll descend. I will start the descent now. Peg it at about 1,000 feet per minute. And once we're good and going downhill, we'll have them run the descent checks. And it looks like our needles are coming in. and we'll let the plane control its destiny.
26 inches, please. Setting 26 inches.
So if you're just joining us, we're starting our descent into San Bernardino.
26 inches set.
We've got about 80 miles to Palm Springs,
Altimeters and flight.
and then we probably got another 40
Seatbelts
that will be flying as part of the arrival. So we're going to be on the Setter 5 arrival into San Bernardino, which is just going to take us to a VOR, basically, and then spit us out to the right. And there's going to be an NDB we can go to, but we'll also fly. We'll fly outbound from that last radial into to pick that up. If all else fails, we can also go GPS too. Wind's not really favoring us at the arrival field. Yeah, it's still 260 at 7, and we're using the ILS. We're going to use runway 6. So that's suboptimal. But if it's 7, I feel okay. If it's 14, it's a little much for a tailwind. But again, we can always go around. And yeah, so 40 miles to the thermal VOR. And have we picked up Palm Springs yet? No, not yet. 15.5. And then the last thing we're going to have to think about is we come down here, we're coming through 19,500 now. We'll need to bring the superchargers off. We'll call it around 18,000. And we'll have to be cautious of terrain off to our left and off to our right. We'll be passing mountain peaks as high as 12,000 on our right, 10,000 on our left. I just want to be as low as possible at Palm Springs. The arrival gives you 16,000. I'd like a little lower if I can get it. And again, we're offline. We're on VATSIM, but uncontrolled at the moment. But if we were controlled, we'd need to be talking with ATC and telling them what we need. So I would just say they have a minimum altitude I'm sure that they can send us to Palm Springs at on that arrival, and I'd want to know what that is. And I think it'd be 13,000, but I don't know. So that's all good. When we come down again, we'll be good. We'll use flaps. I'll use a little throttle too, because I'm not perfect. Won't be the worst thing I've done to the plane on the flight. But, yeah, we'll basically should have a nice long final for runway 6. We have to do a circle to land. Well, we can always divert. Or we can try it, but... The other option is canceling IFR and just going visually for that, for the other runway. I think it's 26. No, runway 24 at San Bernardino. Just a quick look at the airport while we're coming downhill. San Bernardino Airport, Sierra Bravo Delta. We're gonna come, so we're gonna come in on runway 6. If we need to come in on runway 24, we'll just have to be cautious of the terrain to the east of the airport. So San Bernardino is a big firefighting airport. They'd have a lot of firefighting aircraft. United States Forest Service has some facilities here for it. A few fire stations. We'll probably taxi on out by the FBO. But yeah, we're gonna shoot for runway 6, and if we just can't handle it, we'll reevaluate and probably VFR, come back around for a downwind for 2-4. And we're coming down through 17,000, so that's 16.8 right now. And oh, they've taken the supercharged off. Well, maybe that's part of our problem. If we were a little slow. Yeah, they already took them off. I see what you're saying, Snip. So I guess that's part of the descent checks. Makes sense, I guess, if you don't need them coming downhill. We're green there, we're yellow there. That's all about right. Coming through 16,000. I'm just trying to do things for them, and they're proactive. The other thing, if you're using the FE, is to think about when you're going to run your in-range and your landing checklist. So, I mean, in-range, I think if we're hitting Paradise at a good speed, we can run in-range a little before that even. So I think I'm, yeah, I'll level off at 13,000. Just because that's kind of the lowest altitude I have on the chart. And then we'll just kind of book it down to Paradise. We can also set our altimeter 2988. Is the local altimeter at San Bernardino. And so what are we on? We're in nav 1. So we're about 7 miles from Thermal. We have Palm Springs. We do have Palm Springs. So let's go over to Palm Springs. And then once we cross Thermal, we'll go to 304 and fly 304 inbound. 300, that's 300. Yeah, that's 3004-ish. And that's 13,500, so we'll probably level off here. And probably have to descend fairly aggressively out of Palm Springs. So that's 13,000. All right, about there.
Set cruise
So we'll
power.
re-up cruise.
Setting cruise power.
Here at 13,000, and then again, we're going to make the left crossing Palm Springs. So we're 17 miles from Palm Springs. We've now passed thermal. We can go over to localizer mode and head towards Palm Springs. Now, next up, we're going to take outbound from Palm Springs 260. This is going to be important. I can't forget this one, otherwise I'm going to fly into a mountain. So 260, like a left-hand turn, 260 once we're passing Palm Springs. So once we're nice and established, we can probably give it to gyropilot, and then make that left-hand turn. Otherwise, we've got good visual references now, and so other than that, we'll just fly such that we don't crash into a mountain as a backup. I mean, low-vis work in the DC-6 is possible. I've done a couple real low-vis flights. I think one was real snowy. But it is, it can be a challenge. If you're up for it. We'll probably get there at some point, too. So we're basically on course. Let's go to gyropilot. And what did I say? 260? We may need to help it on this one make that left turn. And again, flying such that we do not hit any mountains. Looks like we might get to talk to someone. We got SoCal Approach online. That's on 124.5. So 3 miles now. And we're going to shoot this kind of gap right here. We're going to start a left turn to help it out. As we cross overhead, the VOR. And we're in the zone of confusion now. But that should be fairly close. Not as close as I thought.
Air 193 November Golf, stay request to cruise altitude for flight following and your destination.
Hey, sir, we're going to be looking for about 4,000 feet to LAX.
November 3 9er Golf for Roger. Are you ready to taxi?
Negative.
Roger.
SoCal approach, November 35 Kilo Alpha. We are SR22 looking to pick up flight following as well to LAX from Palm Springs. So we want to be at 6,000.
Or 35 Kilo Alpha, SoCal departure. I can give you 6,500. I can't give you 6,000 though.
That works.
Or 35 Kilo Alpha, understand your type is a Cessna 172 Cent Golf.
I know we are at SR22.
Roger.
Yes, Sirius SR22.
Or 35 Kilo Alpha, squawk 4743.
4743, November 35 Kilo Alpha.
SoCal approach, good evening. We're DC-6, November 944 Yankee Charlie. We're inbound to San Bernardino, 13,000.
Or 944 Yankee Charlie, SoCal approach, squawk 4723.
4723 on the box, 4 Yankee Charlie.
For 35 Kilo Alpha, can you repeat our squawk one more time, please?
Or 35 Kilo Alpha, 4743.
Thank you. We're ready to taxi for 35 Kilo Alpha.
Or 35 Kilo Alpha, runway 31 right, taxi via Echo Bravo.
Echo Bravo 31 right, November 35 Kilo Alpha.
SoCal, 4 Yankee Charlie. What was our squawk again?
Or 4 Yankee Charlie, SoCal approach, squawk 4723, Palm Springs, altimeter 2976.
All right, 4723 for 4 Yankee Charlie.
Or 4 Yankee Charlie, radar contact 10 miles west of the Palm Springs Airport, say altitude.
13,000, 4 Yankee Charlie.
November 1 and a tree, November Golf, we're ready for taxi.
193 November Golf, runway 31 right, taxi via Echo Bravo.
31 right, X-ray Bravo for number 1 and a tree, November Golf.
Or 35 Kilo Alpha, that's the wrong way.
I'm sorry, we're like completely filled out right now. Let me turn around. I'm so dumb.
No problem.
SoCal approach, 4 Yankee Charlie. Can we get lower descent? I'll take as low as you can give me.
Or 4 Yankee Charlie, descend to maintain 9,000 for now.
All right, we'll just maintain 9,000, 4 Yankee Charlie. So now to 4 Yankee Charlie, and now the real art begins.
And 35 Kilo Alpha holding short 3-1 right. And Bravo.
And I'm actually going to go
35 Kilo Alpha, runway 31 right, clear for
take
takeoff
control.
on course.
We'll set 26 inches.
Right. 35 Kilo Alpha.
And really let this thing come on downhill. Now, as far as drag, we've got gear and other things.
Air 4 Yankee Charlie, expect the RNAV Zulu, runway 6.
Can we get the ILS for 6, 4 Yankee Charlie?
Yeah, on request. Southwest 212, reduce speed to 210.
And a 210 for Southwest 212.
Casino Express 457 with you off of 25 left. We're going up 3,000.
Charlie X-ray Papa 457, SoCal departure, radar contact climb via the late J4 departure. Okay, I got the call sign of Charlie X-ray Papa.
All right, so we're coming down. We're going to set up for 9,000 feet.
All right, Casino Express 457, thank you.
And we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what we can do. So they want to give us the RNAV Zulu, which I can fly, but
R4 Yankee Charlie, descend to maintain 7,000.
just maintain 7,000 for Yankee Charlie. So we'll keep going downhill, 7,000.
R4 Yankee Charlie, cross Paradise, VOR at or above 4,000, clear to ILS, Zulu, runway 6 approach.
Or we'll cross Paradise VOR at or above 4,000, clear to ILS 6 for Yankee Charlie. So we'll see what we can do here. We're coming down.
And November 4 Yankee Charlie, Paradise at or above 4,000.
At or above 4,000 at the Paradise VOR for Yankee Charlie. So we'll head down to 4,000.
212, that's going to maintain 2,600.
Down to 2,600 for Southwest 212.
Do our best. We're just, yeah. We're very fast at the moment.
R3 November Golf, you ready to go?
If we're ready to go, for 3 November go.
R3
So
November Golf,
I'm getting behind a little bit.
right.
112.2.
On course, wind 09008.
Things are now going to happen somewhat fast. So let's go gyro pilot mode.
Southwest 212,
112.2.
speed to 180.
And then 109.3.
Southwest 212.
It's going to be the ILS frequency. We're down to 4,000, and yeah, again, we want Paradise VOR, 15 miles.
Air 35 Kilo Alpha, radar contact, stay altitude.
5,000 past, climbing to 6,500.
So 15,000 at Paradise. Let's see.
SoCal approach, good evening, Alaska 342, passing 18,500, entering via Ironman 2.
Alaska 342, SoCal approach, squawk 4612, good evening.
Clock 4612, Alaska.
So that's 5,000 now. So if I can just get down to 4,000, we will...
Air 3 November Golf, radar contact, stay altitude.
We'll be at 8,000, or correction, 800 feet for 3 November go.
We'll think about that, and then we're going 0.
Alaska 342, radar contact, 5 miles
07.
left, Fillmore VOR, stay altitude, descend via the Ironman 2 arrival.
Passing flight level 170. descending via Ironman 2.
So 007.
Southwest 212, turn right heading 160 vectors to final, expedite your descent.
160, expedite descent for Southwest 212.
So right there is going to be 4,000. So let's get this thing, I'm going to cheat. I want to, you know, make sure that we do have some BMEP in, but not
15
very
Express
much.
457, contact LA Center 135.55, report your call sign.
450, Casino.
So 5 miles to Paradise. And then we'll turn 007. And then we will, we'll intercept the localizer. There, we're coming down through 200 now.
Air 4 Yankee Charlie, Ontario, altimeter 2988.
Roger, 4 Yankee Charlie.
Southwest 212, turn right heading 220, intercept the runway 24 right, localizer.
Okay, right, 220, intercept localizer for 24 right.
So we are ending up, I think my GPS is not too messed up, but a little messed up. I think it's, I put it in a back course mode somehow, because it's still showing Mohawk. So we're officially kind of off the grid.
Southwest 212, 5.5 miles from Kobe, maintain 2,600 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS to runway 24 right approach.
We're going to start the right-hand turn
Maintain
now.
2,600 until established on the approach, cleared 24 right for Southwest 212.
ILS 24 right, please.
ILS 24 right, Southwest 212.
That'll be good for now.
Number 4 Yankee Charlie, wind 2408, runway 6, clear to land.
Runway 6 cleared to land, 4 Yankee Charlie.
Fuel tank selectors.
I don't know why I want to be southwest.
1, crossfeed off. Hydraulic bypass valve. Down.
So it should come down and we need to keep making the right-hand turn.
On. In-range checks complete.
And so at this point we're now looking for the localizer, really, but...
Southwest 212, contact LA Tower 120.95, see you.
Over to tower, thanks, Southwest 212.
So, gear can come out. And we'll start with a little bit of flap.
Flaps 20. Setting flaps 20.
Alright, so let's go over to the localizer. And it's going to be 057.
Mistress Ridge, please. Auto Ridge. Mistress set. Gear up and down, please. Gear up and down.
Alaska 342, expect the ILS runway 24 right.
Expect ILS 24 right, Alaska 342.
Alaska 342, Los Angeles, altimeter 2991, information alpha current.
Wheel grab alpha.
ADI. ADI off. ADI is off. Moving lights. Speed good. Extending lights.
Alright, so at this point let's turn right. And I'm going to take control. So we did a good job of getting down to speed. Now we need to make a fairly aggressive right-hand turn.
Standard and on. Copy. Carbine cold. Set cold. Before landing checks complete.
Fairly aggressive descending turn. I do not have the runway. I do not have the runway in sight. It's over here. Not kidding about the haze. But let's follow our instruments. We do have gear down, and looks like flaps 20. I'll even go as far as flaps 30. BMAP is 100, that's good. Airport should, the field should be off our nose. But I think it's just in that haze.
Alaska 342, reduce speed at 210.
Reduce speed 210, Alaska 342.
And then we should be hitting the, we should be hitting the ILS shortly. So let's bring flaps back up to 20. Getting just a little slow, so let's peg that at 100.
Number 1 under tree, number 1. Can we get a flight following up to 6,000 feet if possible?
R3 November Golf, I can give you 6.5 and up, 6,000.
And from 6.5 for number 1 under tree, number golf, thank you.
R3 November Golf, climb VFR 6,500.
From climb VFR 6,500, number 1 under tree, number golf.
So that hill is a little concerning at 2,200 feet while you're descending. But again, if you're following the chart, not a problem.
Or 5 Kilo Alpha, Ontario, altimeter 2990.
Alright, so let's let ourselves continue down. I'm trying not to fight too much. Let's give it flaps 30 now. We're still pretty high. But at Pettus, I mean, it says 3,118, so we're kind of in the ballpark. I'm getting my lateral nav, and we're still below the glide slope, so that's good. We're now capturing the localizer. And I think I see something long in the distance that might be a runway. Something that looks like a runway. We've got a glide slope now. Let's give it one more notch, flaps 40.
Alaska 342, descend to maintain 2,600, then reduce speed to 180.
Descend maintain 2,600, then reduce speed 180.
Bring back the power to 100. And we're above the glide slope now, so let's go flaps 50. Just come back a little on the power. We got gear down, we got flaps full. We're a little fast, but that's all right. Let's catch up with the glide slope a smidge. Wind was about 7 knots is what they were saying, so. That's doable, and if we do need to go around, we will climb right, climb to 2,000 feet, then right, climb to 6,000 feet, and just basically turn back around the way we came. So that's in the glide, so let's get the speed back under control. But not too much. Just a little. I don't know that our reverser is bound to anything.
And SoCal, Southwest 1563 with you.
Still a little high.
Leaving flight, leaving 14,000 for 6,000.
Southwest 1563, SoCal approach, contact SoCal approach 09.6, yep.
Roger, 9.6, Southwest.
Just small adjustments at this point. We got the runway. It is hazy, they're not joking about that. 110, looking okay. We're looking all right. It's funny, a yoke, I think, makes this a bit easier.
Alaska 342, turn right heading 160, vectors to final.
Turn right heading 160, Alaska 342.
So coming up here, 100 knots, a little bit of a coming in. Trying to avoid too much of a float. Just set it down. Welcome everybody, San Bernardino, California. We probably could have made that one, but let's see. We'll go up to Alpha 2 and it's fine. No one else coming in. So we'll keep it on the roll. Take a left and we'll probably just go to the hangar straight ahead. What was...
Alaskan 342, turn right heading 220, intercept the runway 24 right, localizer.
What was the damage? 57 feet per minute.
Intercept the localizer 24 right, Alaska 342.
Frankly, probably a little soft with a tailwind. I think we should have planted it a little bit earlier, but that's all right. It felt good. I mean, a yoke makes a huge difference on this plane. Feels like.
After landing checks complete.
All right, good stuff.
Alaskan 342, 5.5 from Kobe, maintain 2,600 until established level localizer, cleared ILS runway 24 right approach.
Maintain 2,600 until established on the localizer, cleared for the ILS 24 right approach, Alaska 342.
SoCal approach, 4 Yankee Charlie, we vacated runway 6. Or we can taxi just straight out of the general aviation if that works.
4 Yankee Charlie, welcome to San Bernardino, taxi to parking, see ya.
See ya, 4 Yankee Charlie.
American 482, SoCal approach.
Alright, let's bring the throttle up. And we'll just take it over to the GA hangars here. Park it up. And get on our way. So that was a good flight. That was a good practice approach, I think. We got SoCal approach at just the right time. But it worked out. I think that was a good exercise in flying with ATC. We did have to kind of slam on the brakes a little bit, but I thought that
342, contact LA Tower 120.95.
I thought that worked well, and
for 342, good night.
Yeah, we did. I mean, you can drop some altitude. Yeah. I think we talk a lot about the DC-6 as if it has a lot of these restrictions, and I was descending about as fast as I could.
Contact lost.
So once we were hitting Paradise, we were able to cross Paradise at 4,000, just barely. But we could do it. But yeah, we were basically doing a dive for the DC-6. Basically doing a dive for the DC-6. Thanks, Snip. Not bad. Good fun flight. Park and brake on. Let's shut down this airplane. So that was a good fun flight. Thanks y'all for coming along. Took us a little longer than I thought, but it was good. We took it from Tucson in the Boneyard out to San Bernardino. Our next steps, I gotta set up whatever we're gonna do. I think we can do some stuff with NeoFly. I'll give ourselves a DC-6 and a bunch of debt. And who knows, LAX, Los Angeles, some of the Los Angeles airports, and probably Las Vegas, a milk run in there, maybe up the coast of California. A lot of fun things we can do. We can go back to Arizona. But yeah, we'll try and do this more as a series. We'll figure out a livery and pick some other fun stuff, figure out a call sign, and but yeah, thanks for coming along with us. That was a fun DC-6 flight. Scratch that DC-6 itch, and yeah, we'll keep working with the DC-6 here in